Imagine a world where the fastest way to get around was a horse, and the only people who owned a car were the super rich. That was America in the late 1800s. And then came one man, a restless farm boy with a simple obsession, Henry Ford, born in 1863 on a farm in Michigan. Henry was never cut out for farming. While his father wanted him to work the land, Henry was busy taking apart and reassembling every piece of machinery he could find, starting with watches. He famously said, "I wanted to know what made the wheels go round." That curiosity was his true calling. At 16, he abandoned the farm for the smoky, industrial promise of Detroit. He eventually landed a job as an engineer at the Edison Illuminating Company, working for the legendary Thomas Edison himself. But all his free time and income went into a shed behind his home. His mission to build a working, self-propelled carriage on June 4, 1896, after years of tinkering. He drove his creation, the quadricycle, through the streets of Detroit. It was a jerky, two-cylinder machine built with bicycle tires. But it worked, and it was a clear signal to Henry. The future wasn't on the farm, it was on for motorized wheels. This machine was the start of his greatest pursuit, not just building a car, but building a new world. Henry Ford was a persistent man. He founded the Ford Motor Company in 1903, but he struggled. Early cars were expensive, custom-built luxuries. He saw other companies catering to the wealthy, but Henry had a radical idea. He didn't want a car for the rich, he wanted a car for the working man. His true mission was to democratize the automobile. In 1908, he launched the Model T. It was simple, durable, and relatively easy to repair. But the real revolution wasn't the car itself, it was the way the car was made. Ford wasn't an inventor of the car, but he was an inventor of production. He looked at meat-packing plants, where carcasses moved on an overhead conveyor, and he applied that logic to cars. In 1913, he introduced the moving assembly line to the factory. Instead of a team of workers building a car from start to finish, which took over 12 hours, the car moved, and each worker performed one small, repetitive task. The results were astonishing. Assembly time for a Model T chassis plummeted from 12 hours to just 93 minutes. This efficiency allowed Ford to slash the price of the Model T from over $800 down to under $300 by the 1920s. He famously stated, "The man who will use the machine must be able to buy it." The Model T was so dominant that at one point, over half of all cars in the world were Fords. In 1914, Ford Motor Company made another decision that seemed insane to its competitors. They doubled their workers' wages to $5 a day. This was an extraordinary sum at the time. Why would a company voluntarily double its largest expense? Ford was implementing a principle we now call Fordism. He realized that his high-efficiency assembly line required a stable, skilled, and happy workforce. The $5 day achieved several things. It reduced turnover, saving the company massive training costs. It increased productivity because workers who were paid well and less stressed worked harder. And crucially, he created a working class that could actually afford to buy the products they were making. He turned the worker into the consumer. The legacy of the Model T is monumental. It didn't just change transportation. It catalyzed the rise of the American middle class, changed where people lived, suburbs. It required the creation of paved roads and fundamentally shaped the American landscape. Henry Ford did not just build cars, he helped build the industrial 20th century. However, Henry Ford was a man of deep contradictions. The same genius who conceived the world's most efficient system was fiercely anti-union, using force and surveillance to keep his factories non-unionized until the late 1940s. And most troublingly, Ford possessed a profound dark side. Through his newspaper, the Dearborn Independent, he published deeply anti-Semitic articles, peddling conspiracy theories that earned him the horrifying distinction of being admired by Adolf Hitler. While his industrial capacity was vital to the Allied victory in World War II, this legacy of hate remains a stain on his name and a crucial, uncomfortable part of his story. In 1947, Henry Ford passed away, leaving behind one of the most complex legacies in American history. He was the farm boy who democratized transportation and created the modern consumer economy. He was an uncompromising visionary whose ideas of mass production and the $5 day still influence global industry today. But his story serves as a powerful reminder that genius and progress do not always equate to moral goodness. He truly put the world on wheels, but the road he paved was filled with both incredible innovation and profound complexity. What do you think is Henry Ford's most enduring legacy, the assembly line or the $5 workday? Let us know in the comments below. If you were fascinated by this story of industrial revolution, hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories of the people who shaped our world.